Hello everyone. I am starting on a new project and it's going to be kind of an Asian fusion type thing, and I think I'm going to go with Silk Road because I did some research on the Silk Road on the internet, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's pretty interesting. And I have some origami paper. I have some book pages from various, I think these are mostly Chinese book pages. I have some origami that I've been practicing. I don't think I can do this well enough to show you guys how to do them, but I can link the videos that I used to figure out how to do them. I have these two pieces are my cover. So this is a piece of embroidered silk that I only had a little scrap of, but it did fit on top of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So the US letter size paper is 8.5 by 11. So that's what I'm going to use for the front. And then I had a piece of kanta quilt that I glued to. This is actually two pieces of cardstock glued together because this will be the back cover, and sewn around the edges. And that will be the back cover, like that. And then I have two sets of cardstock paper. I'll tell you what that is in a second. I have this one, which is die cuts with a view. And I've already used a little bit of this for a gift that I made for someone. So those are scraps. But it's got some really lovely papers in here. I kind of wish they were double-sided, but there are still some very lovely papers. I really love that one with the waves and the writing. I have no idea what this says, which makes me a little nervous. But yeah, so I've got that one. So that's Die Cuts with a View. It's called the Far East Stack. And I have this Stamperia one. Let me arrange some of this stuff over here. I have this Stamperia, this called Oriental Garden, and this one is double-sided. And their papers are always so lovely. But there aren't as many, I guess, because they're double-sided. I really wish Stamperia would give you two of each, because sometimes it's hard to decide which to do. Love that one. And then these are those book pages that I ordered from a store on Etsy. And they come in all different sizes. I think these are all Chinese. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. This one might be Japanese because it looks more scripty. I don't know. I don't know my characters. And I know that there are different, there's kanji and there's katakana, I think. And I don't know. I'm not well versed in my Chinese and Japanese. And then there's also Korean, but this to me does not look Korean. I think Korean has a rounded look to it. But I'm not sure. Oh, maybe this is Korean. So anyway, I've got these really interesting papers. Hopefully there are no bad words on any of them. And this, I believe, is a calligraphy practice page, which I find fascinating. I love that. And I actually went and I did buy some calligraphy paper. And it's really interesting. It's like very fabric-y feeling on this side and kind of plasticky on this side. And I'm assuming that so that the ink doesn't bleed through. So that's interesting. And then I also have, I feel a little silly, and I have a bunch of these mulberry papers, which are really quite lovely. So that is that. And then, okay, so then I'm going to attempt a stab binding. So the way you attempt a stab binding, and I have not done this yet, I have just seen it done on YouTube, is I took a letter size piece of paper and I folded it in half 3 times. So once, twice, thrice, and then in the other direction as well. Once, twice, thrice. So you wind up with a grid. And these squares are about an inch. They're not perfect squares. And then, oh, you know what? I did it along the wrong side. So then, oh, silly me. You line it up and you have a grid here. And you put a dot at the first intersection. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I guess you can. And then you skip a line and make a dot, and you skip a line and make a dot. And these are your, just do this. This is your template now for where your holes are going to go. I just dropped my cap from my marker. Hold on. Hold that thought. Oh, it's completely gone. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay. Whew. So this is where you're going to use, I'm going to use my screw punch, which is right here. See it, when you push it in, it twists and makes a hole. And there are different sized punches that you can use that store in that cap. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to sew them together with the stab binding technique. So I'm kind of excited. There are a bunch of new things that I haven't done before that I'm going to try. So let's see, this was all really nicely packed. I got these from Ruby Dog's Art House. I just went and searched in the search, and they sent all kinds of really interesting stamps too. Okay, so that is that. So what I mostly want to do today is pick my papers. And I was thinking about picking my papers in bed last night. And the reason I was thinking about it is because if you just stack them up and then you go to embellish them, you're automatically going to have this kind of odd alligator mouth. So what I was thinking I would do is I'm going to cut them to the size, but I'm going to fold over the edge so that it gives me a little extra room in between each page. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to need my cutting thing here. Let me move some of these things out of the way. And grab my papers here. So I'm going to pick papers. Oh, I'm about to have an avalanche. There we go. Pick some papers and show you what I mean by what I want to do. So let's go with this Stamperia first. See, I love that one right off the bat. This is so nice. They're all so nice. That's kind of a nice collagey one. As is that. It's going to be hard because I'm going to have to cut these down. Oh, I love that dragonfly. Let's start with this one. Okay. So, I know it's going to be 8.5 tall. And I want to keep the dragonfly. So if I keep this bit here, Then I'll cut this at 8.5. 8. Maybe I'll make them 8.25 so that there's a little bit of an overhang at the top and bottom. Okay, so there's 8.25. And then I have a really nice bit over there to make use of. Okay, so now this is 12 inches wide. I need it to be 1/2 by 11, no larger than, if I fold it, if I score it, I'm just gonna, I have a scoreboard, but I'm just gonna use this. If I score it at 1 inch, like so, then I can fold it back, and then when I stack these up, I will have a little bit of room, wiggle room for a pocket. It's not a huge amount, but at least it's a double thickness on one side. So if I wind up putting something here in the stack of the papers, it will, I'm hoping a stack of them will alleviate the alligator mouth just a little bit. And that works, look, that works really well. So it's 11 wide. And actually there is just a little bit, of some wiggle room around there. Or do I want to do it this way? And because then when you turn it, you'll see the dragonfly is upright. And then I can embellish this side. And if I embellish this side, then there's a little bit of room. And if I do the top one so the two folds are, I'm going to try that. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another one and see if my theory works. Okay. So I want a plainish piece. All right, let's do this one. And oh, that has a border. It's kind of annoying. If we do it this way, okay, so we need it to be 8.5 tall. So we're going to cut it like this, but I was doing it 8.25 to leave a little bit. Oops, 8.25 is right there. And then I'm going to score it at 1 inch. You know what? I have a better scoring tool. For this. How about this side? Ah, this side. Oops. That didn't go as quite as well as I should have. How did I go wrong? There we go. Okay, so now what I'm thinking is that the way this will work is we have our book, and then, oh, that's okay. I wonder if there's a right side and a wrong way for the writing. Is this even real writing or is this fake? I don't know. I can't tell. I'm thinking it's not real. I don't know. So if I go like this with the two folds together, then that leaves some room in between for some embellishments. Because then this will be like this, and you lose an inch on this side when you do the stab binding. But I'm kind of liking that. I'm liking this idea. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more. And then next time I will come back and we will start figuring out pockets and things. So I hope you found that interesting and that you come back and check on my progress. Hope you have a great day. Stay well. Bye-bye.